Alright, so this is it, the true final battle. What's up with Baltro here? He resummoned all of the Dark Mokis into his group. So they're essentially basically the same thing, and apparently Galerius is still chilling over here for whatever reason. Alright then. Then we have Baltro himself. Undead Staff, plus 20 HP, plus 10 magic defense. Holy, still never killing this guy with magic skills. 87 magic defense. He has no initiative, he has no guard rate, he has no crit, he's not dodging anything. His accuracy isn't all that great, so really you just gotta get a physical unit over here, or multiple physical units, and just ram them into him. Talisman of the Abyss. Blindness, Death Blow, and passive immunity. So it looks like you could actually cheese Baltro with poison in this one, because unlike Galerius, he doesn't have the 70% poison reduction. So you could probably just poison Baltro to death is another way of going about things if you don't want to use a physical unit, although you're probably still poisoning with a physical unit regardless, but that's besides the point. Galerius is still a thing. He still also has a skill to reduce you down to 1 HP, so that's cool. But they really don't have insane HP like that, and it doesn't say that he's going to res them like he did when we originally fought him. I'm pretty sure these guys are all just stand-ins from the original group that were in this area, like when we were fighting, or when there was like Gailey and all the other groups. I think this setup is supposed to be reminiscent of that. Except now we're in the middle and Baltro's playing King of the Hill over here. But that's okay. Oh wow, it kept everybody at their same stamina and whatnot. That's kind of cheesy, honestly, but okay. And it kept my same time limit. Does that mean it didn't reset my item usage? It didn't. I have 1 item to use throughout this entire fight? Are you kidding me right now? Oh my. You serious? Bruh. Are you freaking kidding me? Alright, well that's extremely troll, and I wasn't really setting up for that. Oh boy. Alright, Brim, you can play healer for us. That's all sorts of annoying. Alright, Fran, do your thing. None of yours are dead, so we can just heal with you. That's fine. I suppose I should get Yana's group out here and start resting everybody.
What is it?
Unfortunately. Go ahead and have you over here.
My bow. Your orders, if you will.
I certainly will have need of your bow. Oh, please can put in work. Ramona's group is out of stamina as well.
You've need of my wisdom. Whatever I can.
So everybody that's in range, rest. Everybody's resting. Everybody's resting. And now, quick call. So now everybody that's resting will get back up, and stamina's fixed for the time being. And the general groups that we need are up for now.
Onward.
Elaine can go ahead and just smash whoever, and we can get some valor back off of these guys and some healing at that.
No mercy.
Some healing assist for you. I mean, these guys look like they're just noob groups for you to heal off of and whatnot, for forcing you into a fight immediately after. Wow, it kept my same time limit requirement. I know I already mentioned the time requirement, but like, that's pretty cheesy. Okay then, and did it reset my item usage? So I suppose we get 1 more large tent before the end of this happens. Apparently we need to keep Railnor's group alive, because if poison does actually work even better than it did on Galerius here, then that poison might just be the victory condition we need, which is seems like a strange decision for a final boss, but I mean, it's an option for us. We're gonna have Elaine keep knocking people out here, so that way I can get that valor back, so that way we can start using it against Baltro.
To defend those I care, you're nothing.
Fran, you're not going to heal at all. You're just going to take damage. Not really something I'm looking for.
I have you.
That's fine, I guess. Everybody's just gonna dogpile on him right here, which is fine.
To defend those I care for.
Ramona can go ahead and heal herself here. Everybody's getting a few more levels towards the end.
ever before. To better serve Ter Rosalinda.
My strength grows by leaps and
Ramona
bounds.
trying to hit 50 as a healer
Foolishness.
right now. Alright, everybody over here, go smack these guys
As
around.
swift as possible.
Elaine continues to just solo because Elaine thinks.
You face me.
Are you not using Astral Blade? You're not. At least this is true power Mysticity of my asthma. I guess that will activate once we get to Baltro, would be my guess, because if it hasn't activated now, when would it?
Well fought. The time is at
Alright,
hand.
Elaine, continue to do Elaine things. Everybody else, go ahead and, help each other out over
War
here.
is a- You have I have you.
Not enough for a kill for you. Everybody else can get a
As
kill
one.
here. Okay, well, you take only 21 damage here. That's fine.
As
Some more
decreed by the
levels,
Father
69
himself.
HP.
I shall
Nice.
surpass Ludwig yet.
Could you perhaps praise me a bit?
No. Never. Alright, everybody continue their rampage over
Your
here.
will shall be done.
Elaine is just going to continue to body the rest of these guys. People might be like, show off these fights more, but these are just generics at this point, so it's kind of like, what's the point? Especially when we just
You face me.
dominate them so utterly. I mean, we're doing almost 1,000 damage with Elaine's group
Well
alone.
fought.
So we will have to go ahead and rest Elaine's group, but we were able to get
Onward.
quite a bit of valor as a result of using him to get all these kills, which is
Your
definitely
ability ends here.
worthwhile. It actually gives me enough valor to give a valorous order out to
My legs grow
everybody,
heavy.
so then once we finish off this guy, we should be able to dogpile on Baltro himself
march.
over here.
Words will do us. You have
I have you.
Alright,
I'm here
Oh.
as one.
I
have you. I'll heal you.
alright, well you get this kill, that's fine.
All the results
69 HP, nice. So many 69 HPs right now. Alright.
Understood.
Well, we saw what happened last time. Every time everybody just
At once.
bounced into each other, so let's not and say we did,
Our
shall
next
we?
move is equally vital. Let devotion shine through.
Alright.
I'm here.
Alright, well that's not what was supposed to
This
happen
may prove
in the
difficult.
slightest.
You have me as one.
2,906 damage, jeez.
I'm
Bruh.
here.
I
have you.
I will survive.
You have us.
Oh
Tend to
my.
your wounds. I must stand. Must we submit?
Defeat will soon be upon us.
Oh
I'm here.
my.
I have you.
I'm not sure.
I'm not going.
Alright, well apparently somebody's taking that L for getting passed into this, so that's great.
I'm a little afraid of
There's no winning this fight.
Such ferocity.
I mean, you got the poison is the thing, and that might actually make a difference. So, alright, the game's forcing me into taking L here. Really not a fan of that. Alright, who can we do with that? I suppose Ramona's group, although that is a healer down. Alright, well, this is disgusting, but I suppose go ahead and take this L for me, since the game's gonna be like this.
The futile struggle of a rebellion damned.
Alright, well, supposedly he doesn't get any healing, so we will go ahead and
You've miscalculated.
Hold strong!
whatever damage we do supposedly should be sticking here.
Decay.
Nope.
Foolishness.
Can you keep up?
Agony of
You'll have my aid.
Just a moment.
Why do you never use Earthshaker? What's up with that? Okay, that's one noob down.
I'll do it. Do not resist.
Oh no, attack down on my werebear. Ow. Ow. Jeez.
To cinders with you.
Oh boy.
Be calm.
Well, thankfully you just gave her a free dodge. You love to see it. Oh, attack down, really? That still did considering we got debuff, that still did good damage. Unicorn's Wrath. Oh. Yeah, that would make sense why everybody goes down to that. You healed for 37.
On will only.
Alright. Well, sorry about that, Ramona. You didn't deserve that, but the game decided that you did, so that's a very feels bad. I don't want to use an item already, but I suppose if we're gonna... Full HP, full stamina, everybody needs that. That is way too early for this. Okay, everybody just chill right now. Okay, cancel movement. Everybody that's moving, cancel it. Everybody stop what you're doing. We lost enough already indeed. Alright, well, time to die, I guess.
I doubt I can conjure up a victory.
You're killing me, Gabe. You're killing me, Gabe. I don't want to throw Perma. I don't want to throw anybody away, but this game is forcing me to do so because of that stupid... Aye. Really?
I'm here as one.
Alright, well, apparently Oakley's is not doing anything otherwise. So...
Defeat will soon be upon us.
Yeah, you're gonna take 1,300 damage because you're resting.
As
I'll
one.
heal you. I'm not sure I can win.
I will survive this.
My hands are shaking.
Railnor's
I must
potentially
stand
has
this
may prove
poison. I
difficult.
suppose we're throwing
I'm here.
Oakley's
Oh, I
away.
have you.
I hate that for me. We're just gonna go ahead and skip that, I guess, because we already know what's gonna happen. Good thing I stopped everybody from moving. Thanks, dude. And now I don't have enough valor in order to activate Valorous Order anymore. Thanks, game. Aye. Absolutely cursed. The depths of the beyond know no limit, and I will not rest until its soldiers tear you limb from a cursed limb. Alright. Well,
At your service.
that's great. Alright. Well,
Simply say the word.
Blaine, how you doing here? You only take 76 damage, okay. I am taking assist
You have
damage
my
now, which is apparently doing more than I'd like. I can't use any more items, so whatever damage I take here is whatever damage I'm taking. Alright, well, it is what it is. I should have been able to clear them before the reinforcements spawned. But unfortunately, because the game wants to troll me right at the end here.
And return to nothingness unending.
Nah, I think I'm
Many
good.
times you've tried, Baltro, but you shall never break our spirit. I promise you that. Now prepare to be vanquished by the might of Febrith.
The sorrows of this tragic war must never again afflict our land. It's what my father would have wanted. This time,
Okay, now
Venus,
everybody's gonna
no
talk.
harm will come to you.
Well, I suppose all the quote-unquote important characters.
With me.
Shall we?
Nope. Here's our Astral Blade skill. Dude, that did not do enough damage. Gotta say.
You shall.
I'll take that debuff.
I'll protect you.
Nope. Debuff immunity. There's the defense drop. There we go. That's what we're really looking for right here.
There's no escape.
Here's our elemental roar. Well, we took out the guy that was guarding. Nope.
Remember to rest.
Attack down and no crits. Rude.
I'll protect you.
Absolutely not. Dark armor, very much so. Cares. Celestial light. There we go. I'm guessing that just blocks the attack outright. It does. Alright. Man, you would just have to throw bodies at him if you didn't have that skill until he eventually got dropped. Compounding Cures.
Unicorn crit
This guy is so done. 311 crit. Yeah, that'll do. Galerius being more of a debuffer at this rate than anything. And the witch over there, which I cannot approve of. Spamming dark armor again, makes sense. I'll take that healing. That was a good hit on Baltra right there.
March on.
Alright, well, everybody else can pretty much stay in range. And we'll let Elaine take care of this, shall we?
Come then.
Oh yeah.
I'm here.
Oh yeah, I think we'll do just that. It's over, Boltro. I have the high ground now. The fact that they don't heal themselves every 5 seconds like Galerius did for 200 plus HP is putting in work.
Forward.
That much is certain.
You shall.
Ominous wall, rude. That burns at least one stack of it. I would have preferred spinning edge at this point, especially for the fact of hitting all. Never mind, it hits all of them. Okay, you know, when you put it that way. Debuff immunity, missed me with that. Into yet another Astral Blade. Oh, these guys are so done for. Easy.
Well, like new.
Alright, we'll get absolutely body Baltro.
A fine bout.
Oh, I get a baby pendant right at the end of the game? You shouldn't have. Ooh. Ah, man. We're just gonna let him do all of this right now.
Whilst I still feast on the souls of Zenoira, thy might is eternal.
Well, I suppose we
Did you
should
not
stop
seek their
that then.
resurrection?
A witless idea, born of the fool Galerius. He served his purpose well enough in prizing open the gate to the beyond.
Okay, then.
Now, he shall be consumed like all the rest. What's more, there would be little benefit in reviving mere humans.
Okay, then.
The souls of your brethren mean nothing to you?
As fuel for my magic, most certainly. What primitive evil should I reanimate next, I wonder? A monster capable of crushing Fevris beneath its heel, perhaps?
Well, I suppose we can't allow
It's a
that.
monster you're after. Just look in a mirror.
Ooh, got him.
Spirits of Zenoira, hear my call.
We got the power of God and me on our
In
side.
his place, a tyrannical fiend who craves nothing but absolute control. Tell me, is this what you truly desire? To sacrifice your very essence in service of this demon?
Pathetic child.
Souls of the departed, if you've any humanity left within you, lend me your...
Everyone, send me your energy.
Oh,
Oh, we're building up the spirit bomb.
their strength is leaving me. You've ruined everything, accursed fool.
These souls are not a power one can wield, Baltro. They are human lives. Human will in its purest form.
Oh, here goes the spirit bomb. It's over, Vulture.
Impossible! The sigil's very nature has been recast. How is this happening?
Oh, finally. Thanks for showing up after I did all the
Now
work.
my tale concludes. I won't allow it.
Nope. Ooh.
Wretched disciples.
So they were disciples of Baltro. Okay, interesting. Kind of late to throw that into the lore, but sure.
Let us lift the curse of the unicorn and bring the salvation of heaven to these lost souls.
Gladly.
It's time to go, Baltro. Got him.
Nihility beckons. All of my knowledge, all of my research, lost to the endless emptiness of time.
Oh, well, looks like he ain't coming back from that one. I do hope that we get a sequel to this game, or at least another one like this game, because it was a good game.
You have our eternal gratitude on behalf of every Zenoiran soul to have ever lived. Thank you, Elaine, and farewell.
Well, I suppose they're going with Baltro, but I mean, hey, you know, Feverith is saved now. Now our queen shall inherit Feverith for at least like another 1,000 years or something like that. That's how elf ages work, right? All right, time for the aftermath.
Ah, there you are. Your coronation is set to commence at any moment.
A word first, if I may. With the much-awaited fall of Zenoiran rule, we finally attained our most coveted dream.
We did. We defeated both Galerius and Baltro.
A promise fashioned out of steel and blood. Yet, can a champion tempered in the flames of war truly lead in times of peace?
Not the time to worry about this,
From the day
Elaine.
of its very inception, Your Highness, the Liberation Army has boasted a singular gift. Its ranks bore nobles, sellswords, and civilians alike. Disparate nations united as one under a common banner. Your banner.
I mean, he's not wrong.
None could ever question the strength of such a leader.
Hey, let's go. Helenia's back.
Should you not be sound in bed right now?
You think she was gonna miss this?
The day my son is crowned king?
Yep, you knew that wasn't
so much
happening.
as dream of it.
Even though you're still like alive though, but I suppose I would be king, in which
You
case,
stand before me, a man full
yeah, you
of
know,
hope.
it checks out. Yeah,
One who will rule these lands with compassion and love.
yeah, we'll do
Just
something
as
like
you've
that.
done for all those who fought beside you. Be proud, my son. Not only of what you accomplished, but how you've made it so.
Would she actually be dead in this scene if we actually chose to cut down Galerius?
From the depths of my
That's a good question, honestly. She might have actually just been dead
heart, a radiant future for Corny
instead of Galerius. I mean, he would probably still be dead too, let's be real, but I guess Helenia might have not actually been alive in that scene had we had attempted to cut down Galerius rather than emancipating his soul. Interesting.
Year 906 of the Hallowed Chronicle. Thus, with all of Feverith as his witness, a bold
everyone's
king
here.
ascended the throne. Ere long, the scourge of Galerius and ancient Zenoira would be little more than footnotes on the pages of history. And those scars of war yet blighted the land, its people awed and inspired by Cornia's noble ruler.
As they should be. I mean, we liberated the entire area. Not just Cordia, but like literally everywhere in Feverith.
Extol the Savior Elaine's sacred journey, a legend only embellished in the generations to come. That of a divine beast and a liberator king that bore its name. The unicorn Overlord.
Ah, he said the thing. Alright, well, looks like game's over. But of course we gotta see ourselves get crowned king. The slowest walk ever. Alright, so we beat Unicorn Overlord. This was on expert difficulty. There's one above this, True Zenorian, which is permadeath, but it's only permadeath if you actually lose the entire unit. So you can pretty much easily avoid it. So I didn't really feel it all that necessary to do. If people want to see me true Zenorian difficulty and we have a lot of support for it, then I'll go ahead and do it. Otherwise, this will probably be the playthrough of Unicorn Overlord for the channel. Very much so a lot of bumps along the way, mostly because of my computer just in the state that it's in, unfortunately. It's still going to take me some time to repair the thing. It's just coming up with that much money it's going to take a minute, you know, especially when there's bills and whatnot to pay. So it is what it is. I'm working on getting it repaired. I'm probably just going to get a new one, realistically. Like, I've tried quite a few things on it now that actually get it to where it's at now. It was worse than what it is right now, believe it or not, with how many crashes I actually mentioned within the recording of this game. It was actually worse before now, so it's actually become far more usable as a result. As we can see, I can actually still get videos out. However, it still needs to be replaced. It's gonna take a minute. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just too much money to come up with all at once. So, yeah, working on fixing that. Anyways, about the game. Fantastic game. Would absolutely love to see another one from Vanillaware. It's kind of hard to believe that. I believe one of the things said about the game was the CEO themselves had actually put in money into this game in order to actually get it produced towards the ends of it. Which, considering it was in production for 10 years, makes a lot of sense. But I mean, you can definitely tell that a lot of thought was put into this game. We've got plenty of unique characters, we've got plenty of classes, we got tons of weaponry, tons of armor, tons of accessories. The premise is generally unique, at least as opposed to for somebody that plays quite a bit of Fire Emblem. There's still quite a bit of those mechanics, don't get me wrong, but then we still got some unique ways of going about it, as opposed to the same tried and true fashion that Fire Emblem has gone with. And that actually felt like far more of an actual final boss fight than quite a bit of other Fire Emblems. Some people will still say that they would want a different version of it, which is understandable, but yeah, overall, I mean, I really enjoyed the game. It was a good game. Absolutely, if you guys enjoy the general gameplay that you'd seen, absolutely go play it for yourself. You know, leave me comments, be like, here's the teams that I used to beat expert, whatever difficulty you were, whatever felt kind of good. After the war, Lex left rule of Cornea the Elaine and set forth his mastery of the blade. Whenever he encountered former allies on his travel, he and they would spar just as they did during their prior days with the Liberation. Though there was great distance between him and Elaine, their bond of friendship remained strong as ever, and Lex swore to brandish his sword for the king. With the war concluded, Chloe chose to serve Elaine as his chief lady-in-waiting, rather than return home to her family in Cornea. In this role, she oversaw the domestic needs of the kingdom, and though she never kept her spear far from in hands of crisis, at times she could be seen reminiscing with her old friends of the Knights Baird, a practice which Elaine himself would join when the moment presented itself. Hopefully this song isn't copyright, otherwise all of this is getting muted. Feels bad, man. Joseph versus Hodrick and Renault watching, makes sense. After the war, Hodrick was granted a position as captain of the Royal Guard, a role which saw him dedicate great attention to the growth of his soldiers and to their unshakable unity. At times, he and his mentor Joseph partook in intense sparring bouts, which he never failed to draw onlookers to the training hall. Though offered the role of Chancellor due to his immense efforts in protecting the prince and shepherding the liberation of victory, Joseph declined, instead chose to seek out his days as the new king's personal blade. Ever a stern leader, he worked tirelessly to train the soldiers that would serve as Cornea's new guardians and ensure that the kingdom would remain safe after his eventual passing. Renault returned to the land he had once ruled under Zenoria's magic, and though some would never forgive his cruel treatment, others came to see the sincere regret with which he faced their resentment. His commitment towards starting anew saw him grow into a fine leader with an eye ever focused on the future, unhindered by the tragic failings which plagued his past. I can definitely see why they would throw this game up for a Games Award and whatnot, and honestly it should go. I think it did, actually. I'm not too kept up on those, though. Especially lately, considering the state of some games and whatnot. Declining a position within the Royal Guard, Clive returned to the province of the Ashen Blue and begun work on establishing a new form of self-governance with his fellow knights. His bold philosophy, which espoused the virtues of collective rule over a single authority, soon spread throughout the province, from the knights of its orders to the farmers in its field. After the war, Adele returned to the province of the Ashen Blue, a decorated hero beloved by fellow knights and townsfolk alike. His bright demeanor saw him remain ever popular, playing with local younglings during the day and partaking in revelry at the province's lively taverns at night. In the end, he chose to live out his days as a beloved knight in the company of his people. When the Liberation disbanded, Bernice set out to travel Cornea and hone her skills, hunting bandits and aiding in the reconstruction all the while. Years after, she was welcomed back to the province of the Ashen Blue, where she chose to settle down and become an instructor in the military arts, thus giving rise to the mightiest army the province had ever known. Yep, that seems exactly where Morden would be. Wasn't really expecting Otch in the picture, but sure. His role for the Liberation concluded, Rolf's reputation as a brave hunter earned him a post as guardian of Cornea's forest. This duty saw him not only defend the land from wild beasts and poachers, but tend to the nature bounty of the region and heal the scars of battle inflicted across the woodlands. Such benevolent deeds brought him nigh endless praise from the people he served. After the war, Morden abandoned his life as a mercenary and lived on as a humble stonemason. While the reconstruction of Baratimo was his first priority, he eventually turned his gaze towards the pursuit of aesthetics and the creation of ever more elaborate architectural projects. The stunning facades, which aligned the main thoroughfare of his home, thus given the name Morden Road upon his eventual passing, well, rip Morden. Upon reading off a list of his achievements with the Liberation at his mother's gravesite, he departed on a journey of fervent magical research, never to return to his homeland again. These he enumerated later in life came to be treasured as a comprehensive compendium for hopeful sorcerers who weren't good at magic just yet. Great. After the war, Jeremy quietly departed from the Liberation and returned to his life as a mercenary, wherein no matter the danger he found himself in, his quick wit and years of experience always saw him as safe. Upon completing a particularly lucrative job with a few old faces from the war, he and his men drank an entire tavern dry and were enwrit the pages of mercenary legend. Yeah, that seems right. How does one simply drink a tavern dry? Like, absolute madland. Hey, the girl squad, there we go. Poor friend, just not blessed by the Griffin genetics. With Cornea restored, Miriam was named captain of the Knights of the Rose, a role which saw her dignified air and indisputable military prowess earn the adoration of rising female knights both within their nation's borders and abroad. With a newly placed emphasis on collective strength, the Knights of the Rose quickly grew to be one of the most coveted orders in the land. Oh, is that really the reason why? After the war, Keitra continued to serve in the Knights of the Rose while also taking up a post guarding the people of the capital. Whenever trouble struck, she and her hammer were always quick to the scene, much to the delight of onlooking citizens. As a skilled craftswoman, she also aided in rebuilding the city and enjoyed unique popularity amongst the local younglings due to her sharp wit and attitude. Through her efforts in the war, saw Fran offered a commanding role in the Knights of the Rose. She politely declined, saying that she preferred to stand as an equal rather than a superior. Retaining the status granted her the latitude to charge into battle to rescue her allies at a moment's notice, a fact which all those who knew her agreed was for the best. Man, it's gonna go through everybody, huh? I guess it always does at the end of Fire Emblem-esque games. Understandably so. Nice to get a bit of closure on where everybody ends up at after all the fighting's done with. When peace returned to Cornea, Melisandre slid past Elaine's watchful advisors day after day in order to request his hand in marriage. Oh my. While her wish never came to pass, the beauty and vigor of her spirited blade were the highlight of many a royal banquet, and thus stole the heart of countless guests. Rip Scarlet? After the war, the house began to reclaim its former glory, a pursuit that Colm enjoyed even more than his Lady Melisandre herself. Though she had always posed him an array of challenges, the fact that Cornea's new king was the object of her affection presented an endless struggle for her faithful steward. Yeah, I would imagine so. In the light of Monica's deeds with the liberation, the noble house Nordheim's name was restored to its rightful place of honor and respect. Her calm demeanor, stately dedication, and moral clarity earned her the fierce support of her people, a groundswell which only grew after her grandfather's passing. While she bore great commitment towards helping her people, she never forgot to honor her vassals in the annual Stargazing Festival, which she's herself made great. Holy words. I feel like a rap god after this point, just reading them as much as they are, as much as they wrote on them too. And so many, one after another too. After the war, Aramis saw to it that Gilbert was crowned king and left the capital to support his brother in the restoration of Drakenfell, taking the guise of a mercenary, a stage actor, a sailor, and much more along the way. In centuries to follow, local legends throughout the nation told of a host of men named Aramis who appeared to help when land seemed to be at its most vulnerable. With the war concluded, Hilda laid down her spear and pursued an expertise in medicine so that she might aid those who still suffered. After the many years of ardent study, she became an apothecary and enjoyed prim and caring for the sick and infirm throughout February. Furthermore, would history speak of the countless lives she and her sisters saved astride her gallant, loyal rival. Similarly, Prim's attention turned after the war towards the ailing people of Everett and supporting Hilda's dogged pursuit of medical knowledge however she could. Her work caring for the infirm eventually led the Orthodoxy to bestow upon her the title of Honorary Angel, an accolade which Prim could only humbly decline. That sounds like Prim. Alright, who's up next? The Desert. Makes sense. With the war concluded, Aubin donated his earnings to the people of Dragonhold's Desert and took up the task of rebuilding his home. Soon enough, towns in the region grew prosperous indeed, and the land once known for its crime and banditry began to flourish and true under Aubin's benevolent leadership. After years in the desert, he acquired a ship and sailed the ocean in search of new adventures. He did mention that in his talks. Magellan set out to reunite his old band who had scattered across Dragonhold, after which he returned to the desert and announced them as a group of reformed chivalrous thieves. Tales of their virtues spread even beyond the desert's borders, attracting a horde of young aspirants to join their ranks. As the band members continued to grow, their keep became a vibrant settlement that saw steady progress under his guidance. After the liberation disbanded, Lisa joined Magellan on his journeys and met an influential trader along the way. whom she impressed with her sharp tongue and keen business acumen. While she had always been skilled in the ways of trade, she was able to build a far more profitable enterprise than she ever imagined, with the funds she earned during the war. She then used her wealth to bolster the desert's economy and improve the lives of all within. With the war concluded, Gilbert appointed Gloucester as ruling lord over the desert. There he worked with awe in the better conditions of the people of the dunes and championed them from a position of authority. His benevolence and unshaking sense of duty earned him the adoration of his citizens, who erected a statue depicting Gloucester atop his little steed after his eventual passing. Rip Gloucester? Hey, even when we save all of them, they still end up getting picked off. Feels bad, man. Bruno, Amalia, Berengaria, and Travis. Yeah, something tells me none of them's win against Amalia. After the war, Amalia returned to the Colosseum and shattered her undefeated streak atop its rankings. Yet despite her assured victory, the crowd never failed to cheer her on. Upon her eventual defeat many years later, she rejoiced that met another warrior as fearless as she, and at her urging, the two set forth towards new horizons. After the war, Berengaria reformed the Tricorn Mercenaries, and the band was offered a new role as a Dragonhold Order of Knights. However, they chose to decline, and the mercenaries traveled the world fighting for the downtrodden and less fortunate. In the years to come, history would speak of their brave endeavors, and all who lived in Fairworth would know the Tricorn name. As a central figure in the reformed Tricorn Mercenaries, Bruno found himself instrumental to the band's renewed efforts. Even striving to become Berengaria's equal on the field of battle, he easily gained the trust and respect of his fellow mercenaries, though his immense strength meant skirmishes ended before the others could even earn the slightest glory. After the war, Travis traveled the world with the reformed Tricorn Mercenaries, proving both his skill and intellect along the way. As a lover of literature, an uncommon trait among mercenaries, he always brought rare and valuable tomes that add to his expanding library whenever work led him home. There's so many units in this game, and that is a very nice thing. And they're all pretty unique in their own ways too. I mean, you could say a lot of them share the same classes and whatnot, which is fair, but I mean, what Fire Emblem game doesn't? So. After the war, Gilbert was coordinated as the new king of Dragonhold and immediately made a name for himself as a savvy ruler. Long had he chased his brother's shadow, yet now he stood in the light of his own making, one which filled his people with hope and joy. In years to come, history would sing his praises as a heroic king who single-handedly delivered his land from all the consuming ashes of war. With the war concluded, Virginia received a proposal of marriage from the newly crowned prince, her king, Gilbert, an offer she gladly accepted. Hey, yo! As a representative of Cornea Dragonhold Bowl, she was beloved by both nations for the strides she made towards goodwill and unity. Over the years, her bold demeanor and skillful blade work earned her the love and adoration of countless fervor admirers. Yeah, I would imagine. Hey, yo, Gilbert, you can't just marry my cousin like that, what the heck, man? After the war, the relationship between Cornea and Dragonhold was mended at last, and Leia officially entered Virginia's service. When her lady gave birth to a royal heir some years later, Leia surprised the court by doting on the new prince even more than his loving parents. When the prince grew old enough to wield a sword, she served as his master. He took my cousin and you got a kid out of it? What the heck, man? You gotta be kidding me. Hey, Celeste, how you doing? After the war, Celeste continued her work leading the local Elheim militia, swooping down from the skies to aid a townsperson in danger of providing relief to an injured soldier. One person rescued by Celeste later started a business by which his customers could travel to the sights of Fever at the top of Noble Griffin, a venture which he named after his savior. Seeking to make amends for the wrongs he committed during his time with the Black Talons, Gamble and his men traveled the land, engaging in philanthropy. Adventures all the while. I'm talking too much in order to make words. Such deeds grew the attention of his fellow thieves and young rogues, who he graciously let join the cause. His sister, having at last overcome her cruel illness, was often seen at his side, though we never see her herself. After the war, Mandarin's friendship with Gamel remained steady as ever, and the two traveled the continent together. Here, the hero of Gamel's now recovered sister, he invited her along to show her the incredible sights Feverith had to offer. The three lived almost as family, though he refused time and again whenever Mandarin asked for his sister's hand in marriage. Hey, yo, so he gets to say no, but Virginia just gets to get married off to Gilbert like that? What the... It's... Of all the people, Gilbert, really, Virginia, I mean, come on. Okay. Chloe chilling over here too. We already had Chloe's thing too. She's just showing up more. After the war, Iana brought her powerful magics to bear as Cornea's court sorceress. Toward the end of her life, she tearfully retired from the king's service and returned to her swamp to teach the rising generation of witches as their wise village elder. It said that she maintained her youthful visage until her final days and departed this world surrounded by her steadfast disciples. Rip Iana? After the war, Sylvie continued to travel lands, pursuing her research into ancient Zenoi. With memories of the Empire's modern reign fresh in their minds, the world was eager to learn more of their deeds in the days of old, and her work garnished immense interest. As a deeper understanding of Zenora's history and culture spread throughout Feverith, further scholars built upon the findings, thus memorializing her as a pioneer in the field. With the war concluded, Riddell at last realized her dream of becoming a Knight Elheim. Though some still whispered about her half-elf blood, she unflinchingly proved herself with great skill and valor, thus silencing those who discriminated against her. In a few years' time, she came to attain even greater glory than her mother before her, and stood as a proud beacon of hope for half-elves throughout every corner of Elheim. I'm really hoping that I'm not doing all of this and it's just going to end up having them muted because of the music being copyrighted, but we'll see. Hey, Rosalindi, Raelnor. I'm sure some people married Raelnor, understandably so. After the war, Rosalindi convinced Athelion the return to the village which sheltered him from Zenoia's watchful eye. They would reunite with Elena, and the two wed, and through their time together was limited by a much shorter human lifespan. They cherished every last moment they spent in each other's love and comfort. Upon her passing, he remained in the village and watched over the descendants for the rest of his days. After the war, Raelnor continued to serve Rosalindi in her new role as Queen of Cornea. Yep, that's all we're getting. Alright, well, I'm sure people that are watching it can read them, so they can always pause it and whatnot if need be, but I suppose they don't get to hear my beautiful voice read it. I really do wish the elf area had more classes to choose from. The war with Zenoria concluded, Eltalindi returned to Elheim and restored its charred forests and downtrodden settlements to their long-forgotten glory and pride. By the time the nation had recovered in true, elves and humans had formed a deeper bond of unity, and the divine Tornos commanded the respect and love of both races alike. After the war, Glatmir was reinstated as Eltalindi's personal guard and served faithfully beside the divine Tornos. Though the land had entered a time of peace, she trained ever diligently with the bow. One legend speaks of a day she spotted a vile rogue at Elheim's border and fired upon him from miles away through a crenelle at Castle Lorhall, piercing him with a single arrow. Dang. After the war, he aided in the reconstruction of Elheim before swearing his loyalty to Eltalindi anew, thus serving as her second in command for all of Elheim. From that moment forth, he dedicated his life protecting Ervelda, securing Elheim, and ensuring the peace of the Elven land never again be disturbed by war. Good luck with that. I do hope that we see a sequel to this game, or at least another game like this. Of course, if this game took 10 years to make, then, you know, it might be a minute, but hey, you know, I suppose that's still something to look forward to, right? Unife still being sus. Words of a courageous human raised by Bestrel spread throughout Frevereth, eventually drawing the gaze of renowned historians who penned tales of her exploit freeing Bestorians. The magnitude of her story resonated across the lands, and Unife and her heroic brethren came to be idolized by younglings everywhere, even those who had never once met a Bestrel. At the behest of the other Bestrel bloodlines, Morbrad ascended the throne as the new king of Bestorius and sole surviving Bestrel. Having experienced life as a human Bestrel both, he ruled without discrimination and quickly garnered loyal support from subjects of all races and bloodlines. Even after Zenora's collapse, Ramona continued to lead the Frostblooms in aiding wounded Bestrels and restoring Bestorius to his former glory with their vast wisdom and keen insight. She also served as counsel to the new king of Bestorius, thus dedicating her life to Bestrel prosperity and aiding their relations with the other lands of Frevereth. Well, we're starting to run out of people here. If we're going through each of the continents, we really only have Albion after this. Ow. Oh, well, that's not sus at all. Hey, yo, why do I need to see this? Who wanted this? Who actually wanted it? Why is it just sitting on this? Jeez. Alright, well, time for the bleach after this episode. Though offered a role as Knight's captain by the new king of Bestorius, Goville declined, thus handing the post to a trusted subject, and returning home to manage his grandfather's tavern. Despite its age, the tavern thrived for years to come as a warm, welcoming establishment. Okay then. Not that I want to be here any longer than I have to. Bertrand led his hammer to the restoration of Bestorius and the construction of monuments to honor those fallen in battle. Every day, the anniversary of the war's end saw Bestorius blanketed in the bittersweet aroma of flowers left as offerings at those memorials. Get this off my screen. Right. Nobody needed to see this. Of all the ways they could have used the hot springs in this game, this is when they decided to use it. And for that reason, there's so many other characters and other reasons to put that in there, but this is what we're going to use it for? Yeah, okay, alright, well. At the suggestion of a dear friend, Dina and the Snow Petals traveled throughout Bestorius to aid in the ongoing reconstruction efforts. Her fierce loyalty and firm leadership proved equally as useful in times of peace, and her success saw countless hopefuls aspiring to join the Snow Petals, human and Bestrel alike. In time, her distrust of humans thawed like the northern ice in the light of spring. Okay then, if you say so. Oh man, we hadn't seen, what was it, Millie or Nina? No, we had Nina on us, right? After the war, Nina returned home much to the joy and relief of Millie and her parents. Having reconciled with their family, she then departed once again to travel the world and aid in the ongoing reconstruction efforts. In time, tales of her exploits spread throughout the land, and buyers gathered in every town in hopes of meeting the vivacious knight. Bryce performed the Brockrats and True, not as bandits, but as a band of mercenaries seeking aid in the post-war recovery of Everett. His kindness, humility, and eagerness to accept tasks few would dare endure saw him grow into a respected figure among both the townsfolk and his fellow mercenaries. And we're in Albion, almost done here. It really just shows just how many characters are actually in this game. It's wild. I could definitely see people doing the Ritual of the Covenant with the Angel Girls as well, at 100% understandable. The war concluded, Sharon returned to the church to tend to the wounded. Everywhere she and her trusted companion Euclides went, they were met with kind hearts and restored faith in the church's teaching. In time, their tale came to be immortalized in a massive stained glass window adorning the wall of the church. After the war, Achilles laid down her sword in exchange for her prayer book and thus took up residence in the church to spread orthodoxy teachings. There, her status as an angel saw her inspire fervent faith in those around her. Even without blade in hand, she forever strived to sever the encroaching roots of evil. After the war, Renee's led a quiet life in humble service over Albion Abbey. Her kind, caring nature saw many of her former allies visit the church to offer their prayers and reminisce over a warm meal. Times of leisure, she would pay visits to Scarlet, and the two quickly rekindled their years-forgotten friendship. After the war, Tatiana traveled the world to broaden her knowledge and advance her medical studies should the plague strike again. Though she believed that faith alone could never heal the sick, she softened her stance upon witnessing the warmth, care, and curative magics the land's churches offered their people. Upon her return to Cornea, her research was greatly funded by King Elaine, and in time it grew to form the central tenets of Fevrith medical practice. Alright then. I'm gonna have so many videos edited by the end of this. Oh boy. Thinking probably close to 60 at this rate, just for this game alone, but I mean, it's worth it. It was a great game, and I'll be able to show it off to you guys, and hopefully that'll inspire you guys to play it and have just as much fun as I did. After the war, Scarlet succeeded the pontificate to Sonatio and returned to Palavia to live out the rest of her days as a humble priestess. There, her president saw renewed faith in the orthodoxy as believers gathered to hear sermons and tales of Albion's Savior. At times, she could be seen in the cathedral's garden, conversing warmly with the young angel. After the war, Eumera spent her days defending the orthodoxy as a sacred knight, pursuing her study of botany all the while. The verdant flower garden she tended to quickly became one of Albion's most sought-after pilgrimage sites. It's said that at times she could be seen hosting Scarlet in the very garden where the two reminisced about their distant, past. Yeah, that's what we call it. Who else we got? We got our shield bearer. And of course, Mr. Cake Man himself over here. Still seems very strange that his attendant there didn't actually become a playable character the way they had him. After the war, Jerome returned to his city and began restoring the city and its surroundings with the undying aid of his beloved citizens. Though lacking a mastery of governance, his kindness, loyalty, and the occasional big good earned him the never-ending love of his citizens. His work with the liberation complete, he returned to Payston and began the long road towards reconstruction. His unwavering dedication towards the task at hand earned him the renewed trust of his people, and together they ushered in a new age of peace and prosperity. Time his beloved son's grave came to be forever adorned with flowers and offerings. I mean, that's kind of ironic considering that they were, the citizens that basically used him in order to get them to give up the city to Zenora, but hey, you know what? Sonatio, very much so, who cares? And Nigel, on the other hand, is at least better, and a bro for coming in the final fight. Not that he did all too much, but it's the thought that counts. After the war, he traversed Albion in aid of the reconstruction, where and then witnessing the breath of faith in the lands thus altered his own beliefs. Despite Scarlet's insistence, he had long declined the pontifical mire, but in time he relented and chose to honor the trust of those who believed him. Thereafter, as the new pontifex, he and Nigel worked together to help out the Orthodox. Wow, they don't even give Nigel one, they just throw him in with Sonatio? It did the man dirty, but I suppose after writing, probably close to like 100 characters, where are they now after the war stories? I suppose I can't say I blame them too much in that regard. Although you give one to him and not Nigel, but I suppose that's something. Overall, fantastic game. If you haven't played it and you like the gameplay that you'd seen, absolutely go ahead and get this game for yourselves. I think this is probably almost like 90 hours put into this game, so if you're looking for a game that will get you plenty of time, here you go. Plenty of different ways to play this game too, with so many characters. I mean, even with all of our characters, with every slot available to us, we still probably had like 20 or so people that were still on the bench even after all of that. So definitely plenty of ways to play this game. And it creates a lot of replayability in that regard. Playing a whole campaign, on the other hand, it's going to take a moment, but it is fun to do. Definitely got some challenges in Expert. Nothing that wasn't like too difficult. Like I never felt like there was a point where I was just never gonna be able to finish a particular stage or anything. Thus, Rosalinde was welcomed into Grand Cornia's Hall as its new queen, and she ruled Cornia as Elaine's bride, and the two remained extremely close, both in their official duties and their personal lives as husband and wife. I imagine we did, especially with Rosalinde thirsting after us the entire time. And you know what? It's kind of a nice feeling, especially nowadays. But you know, it's something. It's certainly something else nowadays. That's for sure. But we're not worried about that right now. You may now commence the quest Unicorn Overlord at the start of the final confrontation against Galerius, if you want to do that again, I guess. You may now select True Zenorian difficulty after starting a new game. Still feel like they should have offered that from the beginning of the game. Essentially just permadeath. I don't think it really changes the difficulty all that much going up to the True Zenorian. You may now enter the capital in the surrounding area after the coronation. You may now visit the altar on Palavia that returned to before you perform the rite of the covenant. A new quest is now available at the ruins in the southwest Cornia. You may now be prompted to save your clear data. You may then load this data to gain access to various new possibilities. If people want to see me do that, then we'll do it. But for the time being, I'm going to say we did all that we needed to do. And we have finally finished Unicorn Overlord. What game are we going to play next? Not entirely sure yet, but I suppose I've got like 60 plus videos at it, and that's going to take a moment, especially with all of them being like an hour plus long each. So I've got some time to think about what the next game's going to be. Leave me any comments that you guys may have down below for any games that you'd like to see on the channel. Appreciate you guys for watching, and this is going to be our playthrough of Unicorn Overlord, unless people decide they want to see a True Zenorian playthrough, or that quest I was talking about at the end of it. Anyways, appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you.